Alright, so what position do you spend most of your day in? When we sleep, assumably you lay down. Some people sit, and I've heard of some people, and I don't mean I mean sitting on a chair or something like that, but I've heard of some people, they just sit in like meditation while sleeping. It's kind of cool. And I think you have to have a really strong posture to do that. And usually the ability to sit, like if you do a lot of meditation, you will notice that what you're doing isn't always meditation. It's trying to be able to sit and having basically hip pain. You'll have like pain that kind of runs up the hips and the pelvic region and such. Because what's happening is you're building up energy and it's circulating through the body, and any kind of weakness in the body is being like stressed. You can think, any kind of tight areas or like tight veins and arteries is being like kind of stressed open. When you just say like you're doing your normal, daily business, your work and such, if you are sitting, maybe working like you've got an office job, or you're sitting on the computer at home or using your phone on a couch or whatever, I find sitting with your back against something is a very restful position, right? It gives you a lot of what we think of as maybe like negative energy, yin energy. And this is good for like creativity, healing, like imagination. It's very much, lets people like dream, so to speak. Like I'll lay down on a couch, you're exhausted, just kind of like laying there, half sitting, and I'll get all these ideas and like understand things, right? I found that if you sit too much like this, you get weak. It's a bit like the idea of a soft bed, a bed that's too soft. They're nice, they feel nice, you're being enveloped by a marshmallow, but apparently it's not great for you, not great for your bones. While a harder surface is like toughens you up more, though it kind of, you're dealing with more physical stress. So you should understand the idea of like physical stress, and the more you stand, the more physical work you do, the more of this kind of stress you take on, and you release it through, coming. That's one way. You're taking a bath, stuff like alcohol, or most drugs in general. You're trading this stress for a high, for sitting and laying and sleeping. And of course, we want to do good things. You don't want to. If you trade the stress for a high, that's all you get. If you lay down and you rest, then the stress kind of builds your body, so to speak. So take that for what it is. But I'm standing right now. Can you notice that? I don't know, maybe there's some... I find you can kind of tell, maybe, who knows, because the standing puts you in a more active position. I found ever since I've started standing that I pretty much don't really do a lot of stuff on the computer as much. I do a lot more stuff. I've just been doing a lot of work, to be honest. Just been doing a lot of work, on the garden, just in my actual job, it's pretty much my life, and I feel like an NPC slave drone, and it's not lovely. I don't feel like as much of a tech wizard, nethead, whatever the fuck. I don't feel like that's much anymore, which is, I don't know, it kind of sucks to an extent, but of course, work needs to get done. So what I also did is I built my own chair. It looks kind of like a table. It's about my knee height, maybe a little lower than knee height. And I sat on that. I transitioned from sitting on a chair with a back. So what happens is that the weight, you can think, gravity, is it really real? Is it just weight? Is it just, density, all these things? Probably it is. But you can think, the force of weight, which is, what we think of as the gravity, is running down your spine and your structure, right? And it's going to wherever you are touching. That's where it's grounding out. This is the idea of grounding, right? You're standing on the earth, People do those electrical experiments with the voltmeter, and they notice that the resistance, the DC voltage is different whether they're on barefoot or not. That's an interesting one. Really, what you're doing by standing or sitting is you're grounding the energy. You're grounding that weight through the body. So if you sit on a stable surface without a back on it, a backless chair, your torso becomes stronger. You become stronger just by doing that. The same way then, the more difficult version is standing. When you stand, it's difficult. It is on the structure. And you gotta, some people, they'll stand and they'll kind of lock themselves up so they don't have to feel their body. You need to feel your body. You need to be in the body. Same way if you're sitting on a backless chair, because otherwise you do not follow and circulate the energy and the weight properly, and you screw yourself up and get like blockages, right, in the arteries and all that. So I do recommend, give it a shot. Get a backless chair. Or if you already have a backless chair, stand. And I've got all my stuff propped up on books and plastic containers, and it's a bit of a mess, but it works. Works alright. Otherwise, you can build a standing desk, or even just build a desk, just a square piece of wood with, it's not even a square, it's a square frame. Kind of, just a thing with some legs on it, and then you put all your monitors and your mouse and keyboard and whatever other things you've got. You put that on top, right? And I had a meditation I released a while ago, which was a standing meditation, and you can do that to practice this, to feel it out. You will feel more confident when you stand a lot, because you just naturally, that's what you're doing. It's easier to move around. It's easier to go, walk somewhere when you're standing a lot more. All right. If you're laying on a chair and you're kind of zoned out, almost it's like a bed. Someone's got a chair that's too comfortable. It's like a bed. You don't really want to get up from it, and your spine weakens. So, of course, you got to balance things throughout your day. Maybe you stand all the time, 8 hours at work or something, and then you want to sit. I don't know. It's up to you. But if you find yourself turning into a jelly spine, then get a backless chair or start to stand when you're on the computer. Because I know probably a lot of us are spending a lot of time at the computer, which is just kind of, it's just like the virtual world. That's how we access the world. At least it is for me. I spend hours on a computer every day, and I'm happy with that. I think that's okay. Right. So I find when I sit in meditation now, it's a lot easier because my body is stronger. From sitting, I spent a couple weeks on a backless chair, and the first week was hell. The first week standing was also hell, and I'm talking hell, just really painful, because your body forces itself to readjust and to strengthen itself. If you sit on a chair, you probably sit with bad posture, because it's kind of hard to sit with good posture unless you get maybe a special chair. So the problem is the energy is being grounded by your back, meaning your lower back gets kind of weak, and your mid back can also get kind of weak. So not good to be sitting all the time. No. At least not on with a chair on a back. I guess it's the same issue if you stand all the time. You're just full of too much positive energy. People who just cannot just relax and imagine, and kind of like NPCs, physical world NPC people, whatever. That's enough on this one. Of course, feel free to check the links in the description for social commercial stuff, and have a nice day.